over 600 hours a week, I decided to then get an office because I could justify that now. So then we got this office, we renovated it. It was dilapidated, but we renovated it, and this became our next location. And the next step was to employ the staff. Lynn and Simon came on board to join me, and they've been absolutely fantastic because they've allowed me to turn my back and focus on the next project. Because all along I've been hands-on, and even the clients struggled. They would bypass Lynn and Simon and say, no, we'll only speak to Sabe. And so they had to fight to justify their positions, and they would say, no, no, we're going to speak to Sabe. And also on the other side, I was really struggling to get this phone call and not respond to it. I had to go and deal with it. So then Lynn, and especially Lynn, she had to sit me down and say, look, you said you want us to manage this, let us manage it. You've got to trust us. So I had to learn. It's almost like having a baby that you don't want to let go of this baby. So this is how it was with me. So with their help, I was able to slowly turn my back and move on to the next project. So with the next project, which was Bridgeway Care Home, which is a nursing home with 27, you can register up to 27 clients. So I then again went through the process of approaching the banks. So I was introduced to a banker who was interested in my story, and I sat down and I spoke to him, and I'm sure he could feel the passion. And he was asking me, what exactly is it that you want to do? I said, I want to provide the best care that any person can get. So he said, right, you go out, you look for a place, and we'll talk later. So I went out, started looking around for care homes, and my husband said, oh, how are you going to afford this? You know, if a bank even gives you a loan, you're lucky if you're going to get 400,000, you know, with the collateral that we had and where the business was at. So I just said, well, we'll see. So I went around looking for a home, and then came across Bridgeway Care Home, and I went back to the banker and I said, look, I found this place, I really like it. The home is registered for 27 beds. There's 16 beds. There's only 16, and the figures are dropping. You could see that the home was in some kind of problems, but you don't know the full story until you sign on that dotted line to say it is now yours. But when I looked at the building, oh, I just felt I could do so much with this place. I could feel it in my bones. So I went back to the banker and I said, look, I found this place. It's on the market for, I think it was 1.3 million. But I said I could only pay $1 million for it because it did look a bit run down. So that offer was accepted. I spoke to the banker. He went out sourcing the funding, and then 3 banks came back and said they would loan me the money, 100%. So that just blew my mind because I never thought that could ever happen, but it did. And one thing I must say is that even though the banks have said they'll loan you this money, they do come out to interview you, just like what I'm doing today. They want to know what's your plans, what's your ideas, how are you going to pay us back the money? That's what the bank wants to know. If you can explain that to them and show it to them, they would loan you the money. Well, that's what happened with me. So I had my interview with the bank. Once we got the 3 offers, we looked at their terms and conditions, and we settled with the one bank. In this case, we went with Santander, and because they had the best offer, so I signed up with them, and I purchased the place.